No eyes yet. No ojito yet. Ojos. Come on. There we go. Y'all ready?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to Creative Makers Podcast with your host, Joey with Steel Blade Woodworks, Matt with Wacky Works Workshop, Jen with Jen's Turns, Jamie with JP Woodwork, and Jake with Northside Custom Crafts. All right, welcome to episode 11, and we're going to change it up today. We had Easy Wood Tools had some stuff come up, so we're going to just discuss a topic today. And today's topic is going to be, how do you start a YouTube channel? Just the basics. And then, so we're going to go around the table, and each one of us, by the way, I'm Joey with Steel Blade Woodworks. I didn't forget this time.
Good job.
We're going to go around the table and kind of just give a little brief summary of why we started a YouTube channel. I guess I'll go first. I started a YouTube channel I like tools, so I like to do some reviews. I like to use them. I'd been doing woodworking for, I don't even remember. It's been a long time. And it was just something I wanted to try to bring to the folks out there. And I decided to start putting some stuff on. And now it's gone into this big old deal of lasers and 3D printers and CNCs and just about everything. So it's fun. I enjoy doing it. And as long as I enjoy doing it, I'll keep putting it out there. So that's kind of my deal there. Jake?
All right. So unlike Joey, I haven't been woodworking long. Or when I first started, I just started woodworking. And the reason why I started doing a YouTube channel was just to gauge progress. So I could go back. If I made something one time, I could go back and look at the progress I made. So that was the beginning of why I started to do it. So that's about it. It has snowballed, just like Joey snowballed into something else, but that's why I started doing it.
Nice.
Who's gonna go?
Who you want?
Jan. Let's go like this. Let's go like this.
So I started my YouTube mostly due to peer pressure. But
Gosh, dang it!
They made me do it.
gosh dang it. No, kind of like Jake, I wanted to gauge my progress, and I had learned some new techniques from some classes I had done, and I thought that people might like to see some of that work done. Mostly right now, I'm just putting shorts on my YouTube channel because, as we'll get into later in the show, YouTubing is a lot of work. And with the myriad of projects that I have going on at any given time, trying to film and edit, it's a lot of time. So it's kind of on the back burner for me.
Can we go?
Why I got into YouTube. I went to a woodworking video and they said, or a woodworking convention, and they said it'd be easy. And I started posting a couple, and then realized that it was not easy. They did not look good. And then I got introduced to a couple people, and they showed me a little bit more of what to do. Jake being one of those people, and
sucker.
It never got easier. So here we are. It just kind of snowballed into it. So here I am.
So for me, I'd watched a lot of YouTube way before I started it. Lots of different people in the community. I joined the community maybe 2-3 years before I started, and I guess my reason for doing it would be more my own curiosity over anything else. I'd always enjoyed doing woodworking and all that sort of stuff, so I kind of knew that side of it, but I'd never ever done any editing or videoing of any kind before ever. So I just wondered if I could do that. And I'm still wondering now to this day, if I'm honest.
Hey, beat me to it. Beat me to it, buddy.
But yeah, that's my reason, just curiosity.
Yeah.
So
And here we are,
Yeah.
still struggling at it, still trying to do stuff, and it
Mhm.
and we just like to complicate stuff because some of us do make things. Well, all of us do make things to sell, and trying to get all that and be able to put content out, it gets pretty difficult. But the first little portion that we want to talk about is, I guess, setting up your channel, just the basics. What do you have to do? Anybody, Jake, you want to go first, and we'll just kind of add to it and see where it goes from there.
So to set up your channel, the first thing you need to do is just get a video out. And that means you're gonna shoot it on your camera, or you're gonna shoot it on your phone or whatever, and you're gonna get it on there. You're just gonna get it to YouTube. Is probably the hardest, the step that you're gonna take. That's the hardest to take. And you can we're gonna probably jump around a little bit, but you can put your videos on unlisted when you go to get it. So everybody that's watching right now on YouTube has a YouTube channel. If you haven't put a video out, that just means you just haven't put a video out. You have a channel. So you go to where it says create and hit create, and you're going to have a video on your phone. If you're doing it on your PC, you have one on your PC, and you just make a video. So then you can put it on unlisted, and then you can go ahead and watch it. And if you want to put it public, put it public. If you don't have a plan, the first thing you need to do, if you want to do YouTube for like a living, or you want it to go bigger, which that's not what we're doing, you probably need to have, they call it a niche, and you want to say all ours is woodworking or CNC or turning or whatever. Then you just, I'm going to go on a rabbit hole here.
Yeah.
You're so you're on your channel, you have the backdrop has a picture, and it needs to say like what your channel's about, and that'll just give somebody that looks at your channel a quick glance into what it is, what they're going to expect when they see it. And I'll shut up for now because I can go off all kinds.
Yeah, we can go down rabbit holes with this, and it's like try to keep it simple.
Yeah.
But if you have a Gmail account, you're basically, once you sign into YouTube, like you're saying, you have a channel. It's going to be what you do next if you're wanting to, and just to keep the cost down. Like some of us chose to go a different route, and we invested in stuff, and you don't have to do that right away. The best thing to do is you have the best thing, the most powerful device in your hand, and you can do everything from that. If you really want to, you can. And it can be simply shot, just as long as it's shot in the right format for YouTube, which is in a horizontal position. And and like you say, there's a lot more things to customizing your channel that we can. I don't know if we want to get real into that. That can be a whole conversation for just one show.
I just started talking and it didn't stop, dude. I went down.
Yeah,
control myself.
it can,
Control my leg.
Yeah, it can get there's a lot to it. But like Jake said, just shoot your first video and get it on, because as you progress through it, the way I learned, because I didn't know anybody when I did it, I just started. So I researched and figured out, okay, well, I need some software. We got to do some editing, and then from there, you got to learn, well, YouTube takes it in a certain format. You have to upload it in a certain format so it will accept it and it plays it correctly. We can go on and on. Sound. Anybody want to jump in?
Well,
go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Jenny Dan.
One of the things I was going to say, one of the basics of setting up your channel, yes, everybody that's signed in has a YouTube channel, but like you guys started alluding to, finding your niche, you want to make sure that you fill out all the fields within the YouTube channel page so that when people are searching, they're finding you when they're looking for woodworking or resin work or whatever it is. So when when YouTube's asking you for a description and it's asking you to put tags in, think of absolutely everything you can. If there's other channels that you like that do similar things to what you think you're going to produce, go in and look at how they tag their work or what types of descriptions they use. And I'm not saying copy theirs,
Mm.
but go in and look at how they format it and what terminology they use and how complete is it. Is it somebody just putting something up there and going, I'm going to make videos about woodworking? That's
Yeah,
not saying a whole lot.
yeah.
Be as descriptive as you can.
Mhm.
And then
And
once you start, once
no,
you
go
start
on.
getting those videos in there, um, you're gonna get some followers, and you start your channel can change after you get 100 views or 100 subscribers. You get a permanent channel. Um, Make sure that you have your name in there correctly. Jake happened to show me that I had mine in there as Wacky Works, and we typed in
Mhm.
Wacky Works, and you couldn't find it. It just you could not find it anywhere. And Wacky Worms came up is what is what came up before anything, and we couldn't find my name, so we changed my name on there to
Mhm.
at Weckerly, and then now it's actually you can actually and it took off a lot quicker after that. So make sure that
Hmm.
you get your name in there because after 100, you get that name as your uh,
We'll
handle.
get to that one
I
a little
Yeah.
further down because
Yeah.
that's like
Which make sure to get
Yeah.
that before we end
yeah,
the show.
yeah.
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 But
So go on,
going,
Jen.
sorry, Jamie, jumping on to what Matt said, didn't YouTube recently change that 100 follower requirement?
Well, that
Because
that
they're just using handles now. So everybody gets a handle as long as it's available.
I
like
believe so.
like an at
Yeah, I believe
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Mhm.
Jen's Turns or at Wacky Works.
I think
Yeah,
I
That
think
and I
that's a
think they did that right when I was starting to put videos up. I think they had just
so.
done that.
I think Mark said it in the chat earlier. He said on when you're in the chat, it says your name, and then when you leave a comment after, it's going to leave your at.
Mm.
So you
Yeah,
can see
your
everybody's
handle.
name
Yeah.
here. It's kind of confusing. So, but I think you're right, Jen. They started doing the at like the other
yeah to
social
simplify.
medias.
Yeah, to simplify because I'm on the customization part of YouTube right now.
Mhm.
So that you have your actual name of your page, whatever you want to call it. If it's going to be Martin Brees, and then underneath, then you would put at whatever, because that's how YouTube is going to give you a link, if I'm not mistaken. So it
Mhm.
could be at Martin Brees or whatever his business is called can be your handle, right?
Yeah.
And then but they also give you can also, like Matt was saying, after you get to a certain status on YouTube, you'll get a custom URL that you have. I think you have two different ways to be able to be found, whether it's at for instance Martin Brees or at Wacky Works, or you can have a custom URL where it gives you like a
Yeah.
website URL type deal
Yeah,
that you
like
can show.
youtube.com/creators make us podcast.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
.com.
.com. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically as well, what I was going to say was it kind of happened to me a couple of times over since I've started making videos. Is after you've made your first video, you don't really expect to make a Steven Spielberg full production video. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't expect yourself to be perfect right off the bat, because it's not going to happen unless you've had years of experience in the video editing game. My very first video, I come out doubting myself whether I should even put the video out, but people were out there, Jake being one of them. It was like, just
Mhm.
do it, just do it. And when I started doing voiceovers, I was like, dude, I can't do this. And let's say a virtual swift kick in the backside
Mhm.
made me do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've started doing that now, and I'm not going to go back to how I used to do it. So
Mine was the
As
whole
opposed to
thing.
virtual hooks.
as opposed to virtual hugs, yeah,
Mine
Jake's a
was
little
the
bit
whole
meaner.
mine was the whole thing of getting over talking to a camera. I felt real silly right?
Yeah.
And it was hard for me to get over that because you're talking to a camera. That will go away eventually, but it takes, well, for me it took a while. And then now I just, because I have a following, I'm talking to those people. That's what's in my head, is I'm talking to them, so I have to describe what I'm doing. It's tough. It is tough,
There's you have to look at the camera. So you might have your camera there. If you have a viewer next to it, don't look at the viewer. You still need to look at the camera. My problem is I have a lazy eye. So if I'm looking directly at the camera, you can tell. So like for a while there, I was always turned to the side a little bit, so I'm only looking so you can't tell. And I had people in the comments going, "Man, why don't you look at the camera? Look at the camera." And I'm like, I could look at it, you still wouldn't think I'm looking at you. So now I've done it long enough to where I just don't care if somebody says something like that. You just have to embrace your shortcomings or whatever it is, and then just move on with it. Yeah. But embrace your defects.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has something, that's a whole wide world out there, and not everybody is going to like everything we say or do or post. And
Yeah.
you need to have a thick skin if you're going to put yourself out there.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I learned that real quick in the game.
Return policy.
Real quick in the game.
On the plus side, if you want to put videos out and you're not keen on comments, you can turn comments off.
Yeah.
If you're not quite ready for that yet.
Yeah, it's when you upload your first video, you'll see the whole basically format or form that you got to fill out. And it's, there's options in there that you can turn off, so you don't have to see that. You can also, in the customization of your page, you can put certain words that if somebody does, if they're, not keeping it classy or cursing or whatever, those actual words can be listed where YouTube will not allow them to comment if those words are put in there.
Yeah.
There's so many different things in the customization of your channel that's like a further on down the road type deal that we need to talk about. Just trying to keep it basic of what we're trying to get across here. Not scare people away.
And you're doing YouTube, so like you have to say, "Hey, how do I block a word?" And I had to do this because I made a video on sanding, and I made some eggs, but they really didn't look like eggs. But so anything having to do with the backside, I had to block that word. So I YouTubed how to block words, and then I've watched a few videos. Oh, okay, here's how you do it. So it was one of those things you're gonna stumble upon things that you don't know how to do, and then you just YouTube it. We say it all the time. Search bar. Go ahead and YouTube it, and you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out real quick. And if you have to do that on every little thing, I had to do it on everything because I didn't know anything about it, and so I had to research every little thing, every step of the way. I had to research it and watch videos and figure it out. So, I did have to block a bunch of words though. I had to misspell them and everything because they were ruthless.
Oh yeah. When you think you have them all, they'll figure out an abbreviation for it.
Oh yeah. I had it coming.
And just to put it out there, if any one of y'all, I mean, we've got a lot of familiar faces in there. Don't mind hitting some of us up. We have no problem at least pointing you in the right direction and trying to help you, because it is tough when you're trying to do this. You're going to have a million questions. Researching it, trying to find it on YouTube. There's plenty of helpful videos. But sometimes there's still questions that need to be answered that you're going to have, like, once you start doing it, because it gets a little overwhelming. Go ahead.
I do think that, like, Jen has, I think she has one or two long forms, but mostly it's short forms. It's the short videos, which when we started, there was none of that. So it's a lot easier to do a short form video. One, because you're not going to spend a whole day editing a minute long video. I hope you don't. And then it's one of those things you can do it and get repetitious at it and figure out how to do it and get good at it before you do a long form video. And then once you do the long form video, then you're going to editing and a whole bunch of other stuff and the short form ones are, there's still something to it, but it's not as bad as you think.
And the
Yeah.
great thing about the short videos is that you have the Instagram that it's in. It's the same format as Instagram. It's the same format as TikTok, and so it makes it a lot easier for that. Just
Yeah,
alone.
yeah. On Facebook too. So you could actually do all 4 platforms by doing one video, as long as you keep. Now here we go again. So
Yeah.
when you're putting stuff on these platforms, each one of them has their own sound. The best thing to do, so you don't, if at first, my recommendation, if you're just going to start off with shorts, reels, etc., Instagram will let you use their own stuff, but we're talking about YouTube, so I'm going to try to keep it here. YouTube is very, they will hit you with the copyright strike immediately. I mean, immediately. So my suggestion, if you can do like an ASMR sound, like your own sound, voiceover, I would try to stick to that. Unless, you can use their music, but you won't be able to monetize. So if you're looking at trying to make this a business and try to make some sort of income off of it, you will have to look for alternative routes as far as a second party to pay so that you have the rights to certain music. And that's one thing that you got to weigh out the options when you're first starting. Do you want to make that? Because there is some expense. You can do a lot of things for free, but when you start trying to move up and make money, you're going to have to spend money, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you guys want to?
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just thinking, do we want to take some questions from the chat?
Yeah,
we can. We just won't go into, if it's a deep question, we just won't go too far into it. And we'll have, whenever we have an empty week, well, we just have a topic, and we'll do like part 2 of this, and we'll just continue with this. But so if there's something too deep, we'll just kind of quickly answer it and then move on. But so yes.
Okay. I'm gonna go back up to Mark's because we're not really following the outline that we planned anyway. So we'll jump into Mark's.
Sorry,
I told you that was gonna happen. I was trying to get to it.
It's all right.
Mark would like to know, where does one find what people use to tag their videos?
You want me to I can hit with that, and I think a lot of us use it. One thing is, you can get the platform called vidIQ, right? There, that's going to populate. You can go to anybody's YouTube channel. You can go into a certain video of them, and on the right-hand side, once you click on that video, it's going to give you all the analytics and everything to that video. It's going to show you everything. Yeah. When you vidIQ, now that's not, you can use it for free. I don't know, is it still free, or are they charging now?
Yes, but there is a paid version.
Yeah, you can you can pay for it, and that gives you a little more perks. And what that does, as you upload your video and you have a title, it starts giving you suggestions, and it'll start populating tags as you go into another part of it. And we can go real deep into this too. But you could, vidIQ will give you a score for each tag. Doesn't necessarily mean that's going to make your video go viral or anything like that. It's just going to give you a suggestion, a score that they have, that they've found, and you pick and choose.
I just spelled vidIQ in the chat because I don't think anybody was going to find out how you were saying it.
Yeah. you Jamie'd that, Joey.
Sorry, yeah. Did I?
Yeah.
vidIQ.
vidIQ.
There's actually also another one that people use called TubeBuddy.
Yeah, and all it is an add-on. It's free. So you go to Google, Google vidIQ. There's a download. It goes right to Google, and then you add your YouTube channel name to it. Boom, it's right there. So you go on. You could click, say, like the video I put out today. You can click it, and on the side, it's going to tell you what keywords I used and a bunch of other analytics to look at to see. And then so sometimes what I do if I had a idea for a video, I go, let's say it's sanding resin. So I'll just at the top of YouTube, I'll type in sanding resin, and then it'll have all the videos there, and I'll just click it. It'll have the most popular videos. I'll go to those, and I'll see which tags they used, and the ranked tags. So what I'll do is I'll go and I'll look at all the ranked tags, and I'll put those in my videos. And I'll only use the ranked tags. So does it work? I don't know, but I feel better about it.
Yeah,
Putting some effort into it.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of them out there. You could actually go to vidIQ's platform itself and enter your stuff in there, and it can also search. And it's so powerful. We probably don't know everything about it. Jake's gonna know a heck of a lot more than we do about it because he's been doing it a lot longer. Him and Jamie. So
well, you can go to my website and go to the affiliates page and click on there, and then go to vidIQ. But this is not what this was about.
You got it in there. Yeah.
You jellied that one in there.
Are you an affiliate for vidIQ as well?
Just vidIQ, not vidIQ.
Vidi. I'm calling it Vidi.
Yeah, become an affiliate. They make you say it right.
Hey, that's how I started saying that from the get-go. Now it's stuck, right? So vidIQ.
vidIQ. The next. Do you guys have anything else to add, or do you want to move on?
Matt,
no, go ahead.
You got anything?
Do you want to take a dig?
I'm good.
Take a dig.
Bear Paws Woodshop would like to know, what do you think makes a good thumbnail?
I would say right off the bat, good lighting.
Good lighting.
Yeah.
Good thing.
Thumbnail.
Nah.
Nice,
He wants to know what
nice bit of polish.
I like a shiny finish on. No, they say we study this stuff. We study this stuff a lot. So the best one is going to be a simple photo that's going to say what your video's about, like just looking at it, and no text or whatever. If you got to add text, that's fine. But if you can have a video that lets you know what that video's about without any text on there, that's probably the best one.
And I would add. Oh, go ahead.
And then after that, it's going to be some bright colors or the right. It just needs to look good and clickable, and that's And speaking of thumbnails, it's the most important part of anything we do, and we're just now getting into it. Speaking of another thing, Canva. Joey talked me into spending money on that thing, and I've already enjoyed it. It's kind of fun, and it's I'm already more proud of the thumbnails I'm making and stuff. So thank you for spending my money, Joey.
You're welcome.
There you go.
That's one thing that early on in the getting to do this, I was watching before I met any of y'all. I was watching some YouTube videos on that, and I think it was Jason Bentz. It was at a Workbench Con, and he was giving a seminar, and that was one of the key things he hit on that stuck in my head. And that's where I found Canva. That was really one of the first platforms that I went to with his suggestion. That was one of the most important things that you need to pay attention to when you're putting a video out is your thumbnail. Your thumbnail needs to pop, needs to grab somebody's attention, because if y'all have noticed, when y'all have searched on YouTube, that's what it brings up. If you're searching for resin bowls or whatever, you're going to see nothing but thumbnails. And if it's eye-catching and popping, it's going to grab your attention.
Mm-hmm.
And you're more than likely are going to go search that. And now they have changed where the thumbnail, like if you go back to my channel, and probably a lot of these guys and gals here, you'll see a lot of writing on the thumbnails. Now it's totally like turned around, and there's like hardly no writing. It's just pictures. And that's a whole nother deal of how to capture those pictures.
Just to get nerdy for a second, and I'll wear that with pride. I'm a nerd. So if YouTube suggests your video 100 times, so 100 people get to see your thumbnail and only 2 people click on it, It's a 2% click-through rate, and YouTube's not going to show your video anymore. So if you have 10 people click on it, you get a 10% click-through rate, then they're more likely to show your video. So if you just have the thumbnail that YouTube's going to suggest for you, because they'll have 3 of them on there, and you just pick one and put it on there, you're probably not likely to have a big click-through rate, which will mean they're not going to suggest your video. So that's one of those things where you have to realize I could spend 2 days editing a video. If they don't click on it, I wasted 2 days of editing. And I could have took a couple hours to make a nice thumbnail or longer, and then it would pay off. But it is hard. You're not going to get, it's hard enough to get views anyway. And if you don't do yourself any justice by making a good thumbnail, then you're just kind of wasting your time.
Yeah. So
it needs to be, I think for most people, it needs to be simple and pleasing to the eye, right? Like they most people, they're scrolling through, they need to be able to quickly see, what is this and does it appeal to me, without having to read a paragraph or trying to look at 15 different layers and pick out what is the video truly about. What's the one aspect in that thumbnail that truly applies to what I'm interested in? They need to be able to see that in the forefront.
Yep.
So let's reel this back in a little bit and try to go back to the outline as we
I thought we were going to answer some more questions.
Well, they're going to have to just wait, Matt.
Okay.
What's up now?
so let's try to take it back. Let's discuss the equipment that we can each say what we started off with and what we suggest for somebody that's just new starting off. And then of course we're going to go down a rabbit hole. I know I will. Everybody will. But Matt, you want to start it off and just kind of go with that?
So my very, very first video was shot with a cell phone, and I thought I was doing the wrong thing. So then I went out and bought, 25 cameras from different types of cameras that hooked up to the computer and had wires strung all over the place and tripping over everything. And then I realized that I was getting horrible quality with that. And then I talked to Jake and a couple other people, and they're like, they just shoot it with their cell phone, and got a better quality camera off my cell phone, and it worked great. That's what I shoot now. I shoot it with my Pixel 7.
You're not an iPhone user? How dare you?
No, I'm not a 15-year-old girl.
It's just a girl.
I can't use those things for nothing.
I think that out of this group here, I'm the newest on the platform on YouTube, and the only things that I've bought, so I too use my iPhone, thank you, even though I'm well beyond 15. And I use my iPhone to record, and I do have a microphone for when I get brave and decide to start doing some voiceovers. But that's pretty much it, besides the editing software, which we'll get into a little bit later. Maybe a tripod to hold the phone while I'm recording, and trying to hold the phone and pour resin at the same time is challenging sometimes.
It's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, truly to get started, that's really the basics of what you need.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I started off with a camcorder, and I had a memory card in there and all that, and I had a GoPro, but it had the weirdness to it. So I used to do time lapses on it, which is cool. So I did all that stuff, and I bought a DSLR camera. I thought I was graduating, and then I was not smart enough to use it. So it was going out of focus, and if you try to focus, I just was too much. It was just too much. So then I finally was like, I'm just going to use I got a new iPhone, and next thing you know, I have a tripod with the phone mount on it, with the light mount on it and stuff. So it's like it got simple. And then I had to figure out how to get the footage from your phone to your computer. So that's a whole another thing, but it's not that difficult.
Jamie?
Yeah.
So the very first camera I had, I mean, it was a weird camera. It didn't have no external. It was more like a little USB that like the camera like recorded straight to it, but you couldn't take it out. So you flicked like a little switch on it. This little USB port just went pop out the bottom of it, and the actual camera itself. You got
How'd
that,
it go?
didn't
How'd it go?
How'd it go again?
you?
Him and his sound effects.
There's a
Right,
rip.
and the whole camera plugged into the computer.
That's going on a reel.
Right, I know,
Ooh.
right? The whole camera actually plugged into the computer as an SD card. I can't remember exactly what camera it was, but after that, I upgraded or downgraded, however you want to look at it, to a cheap version of a GoPro, and then I started using Canon Vixias or Canon Legrias, as we call them in the UK. And then, now then I was using my phone for taking pictures of the after pictures, if you like. And then I happened to get a DSLR. And then
That's weird.
I wonder where.
and
Were you smart
that-
enough to
that's-
use it?
no, but not as a video camera, but I use it for taking.
Take great pictures.
It takes good pictures for like after pictures and all that sort of stuff. I just need to get a bigger light box now for taking pictures of it in. So yeah, that's basically what I use now.
So I went a different route. I started off and I was like, I'm not using my phone, and I went down to the local Walmart and I had heard DSLR, so let's go get us a DSLR. Not knowing a whole lot, and kind of sometimes I just shoot off the hip, and I went over there and I purchased a DSLR. Well, then I wanted to put mics on it. Well, long story short, you can't do it on certain ones, and certain DSLRs will only record for a certain length of time, right? So what I'll tell you is people will forgive you for video, but not audio.
Yep.
You need to make sure. One thing that I had a big problem with, it's very hot down here, and I was always running fans because I'll sweat like a mule. And you've probably seen them in some of my videos, and it's just what it is. But those mics catch that background, and that is so hard to pull off your video. There's AI apps now that you can try for audio, but the best thing to do is just don't have them on. If you can try to do it without anything, or your neighbor mowing the yard, because you don't think it'll pick it up, but you'll hear that lawnmower going, because mine always decides to try to do it when I'm recording. But the thing is, if you're going to go buy a camera, do your research so you're not spending money over and over again, because you'll end up with a stockpile of cameras.
YouTube search. YouTube
Yeah.
search.
Yeah, search it and make sure, because you think you'll be recording. I started off with the GoPro. Well, that was one of them. And I quickly found out that I didn't like the way it was shooting. It shoots beautiful pictures, but it just wasn't what I wanted. The best thing to do is use your phone. If that's what you want to do, the cheapest thing to do, you're already paying for it. Use it and make sure it's going to be something that you want to do and you're going to continue doing. And that's what I highly suggest to do that, before you go. But if you're going to go do like what I did, research and make sure you get the right camera, so that when you're shooting, there was videos that I was shooting that I didn't know that camera would shut off, because who needs to read instructions, right? Just turn it on and let's hit go,
Hashtag man.
And
Instructions.
Instructions. Who needs
What's that for?
and you think you're recording, and you're not, because it only records for like almost 15 minutes, and that's it. Which you'll learn as we go through this, because we'll hit on this topic again. And you need to know when to start the camera and when to turn it off. You don't need to record everything. because
Yeah.
when you go to edit video, you don't want to have to go through 10 hours of video footage to try to get a 10-minute video or a 5-minute video, because that's very painful. That's going to make you not want to do it, is what's going to end up
Right.
happening. Go ahead.
Mhm.
So that leads into one of the chat questions from Joe. He's Garofalo, I think.
Pronounce that last
Garofalo.
name. Pronounce that
Garofalo.
last name, since y'all are making fun of my
I
vid IQ.
did. Garofalo.
Go Garofalo.
Hey,
Yeah.
Garofalo sounds cool too. It's all right.
Do you all use the same video editor, or do each of you have your own favorite?
Who's going first?
I'll go.
started
I'll go.
out.
Oh,
Okay,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh,
So
all right.
I got Filmora. When I first started, I got on YouTube and I was like, "What's the easiest editor?" I search barred it, and it was Filmora. So it's called Wondershare Filmora, and I think it is the easiest. It was cheap, and when I got it, it was a one-time fee, and they've they have a perpetual plan too, but I'm on the one that goes. I only have to pay for it once, and I don't know if they do that or not. But anyway, and I have it on my phone also, and that is a yearly subscription thing, and it's not that much, $25, $35, something like that. So when I know I'm going to do something for Instagram, I do it in that format on my phone, and I just I'll have my daughter in here when I'm turning something. I'll be turning with my phone. I'll be doing that with my phone for the YouTube video, and then she'll be on her phone. She has iPhone also, and she'll just do it in the other format, and then she'll just drop it to me. She'll airdrop it to me, and then I edit that right on my phone. The one that I'm going to go on Instagram. So I'll have it on my phone. So it'll be, I'm not making the video on Instagram or YouTube. I'm making it on my phone, and then I can upload it everywhere I want to go. And then the Filmora on the computer is how I do that. And it's super easy. I like the simple things, and there's video editors out there. I'm sure these guys are about to talk about them, but I like the simple ones, and they'll even do more than what you think that you're ever going to do. But those are the ones that I use, and I've used them from the start. So I'm probably a little biased because I tried some other things. There was even a free one on my computer at the time, and I started doing it. I didn't even know how to get the video to the editor. It was complicated. So Filmora is what I use. There you go.
So I did what Jake did. I Googled, and instead of the easiest, I typed in the best. And it was like the most features.
Yeah.
And that's the one I bought. It was like $379 for a year. And
Sucker!
yeah, it was
Did you need
Adobe.
instructions?
Oh, I need instructions to turn the thing on.
Yeah.
But it was Adobe. I can't remember the name of it right now, but it's Adobe Premiere. Yeah. And I loaded it, and it showed all these features and these videos of everything it can do. It could pull a camera right through a window and pull it through the other side, and it was great, awesome. I couldn't figure out how to use it. And actually, when I went and visited Jake, he said, "Well, this is what this is," and I went, "Wow, that's a lot easier than what I was been trying to do." And I downloaded it, and it's super, super easy. Now I'm not the greatest at it, but that's what I use now is Filmora. It's an easy editor. It's easy to pull things into, and it's just easy.
Yeah, if you want to cut the film, there's a pair of scissors, and you hit them.
Yeah, you just click.
And if you want to throw it in the trash, there's a trash can. You highlight it, throw it in the trash. It's easy.
Yeah,
Super simple.
I'm exactly the same. I use Wondershare Filmora on my laptop. Super simple, like Matt and Jacob just said. When it comes to my phone, I use an app called CapCut or an app called InShot, both as well. It's super simple. When it comes to pictures, I use one called Juxtaposer. That is a paid one, but you see what sort of shenanigans I get up to with that one.
It's
Well,
worth
my
every
chair's
penny.
just gone.
It's worth every penny.
You can write that timestamp down. My chair just went and I nearly fell on my rear end.
Oh, that'd have been fun.
But yeah, Juxtaposer is the other one for pictures and all that good stuff. So
Juxtaposer.
yeah, Juxtaposer.
You could spell that one correct.
Mm-hmm. Just like vidIQ.
So on the computer, when I'm doing the long form videos, I also have Filmora. When I'm doing my shorts, I cheat and I develop my reel in Instagram first, but
Cheater.
I cheat. I
Hey.
call it being efficient. Let's say that. So I I create it in Instagram and I download it without the music, without the Instagram logo on it and everything. So then I have it in my camera roll as just the regular video. Then I go ahead and add the music on Instagram using all their stuff and post it. But then I still have the original video that I can load to YouTube or TikTok or whatever else. So I can use the same video and upload it to all 3 platforms. But for the long form videos, I use Filmora.
There you go.
Yeah,
Efficiency.
I use a platform called Power Director 360. I'm the oddball out of the group. Yeah, I'm
Fancy.
different. Yeah, I'm different. I'm different. That's what I started with. They have tried to pull me over to the Filmora side, but I will not do it.
He told me I'm dedicated. I've been doing it.
Yeah, I mean, because when you get into these softwares and you start developing like your own intros and stuff and all that saved, and to go start all over again, you're gonna lose all that. And if any of y'all decide to do this and y'all get into them, I'm pretty sure most of these platforms are all the same, but you can develop certain clips that go into your video that are saved there so you can reuse them on other videos. And that's why I did not want to make the change. I was having a lot of problems. And here's another thing that we're going to go into. I was having a lot of problems with the computer because it kept freezing up on me. I thought it was a software. So I had a different version of Power Director. And I was like, this software, that's when I was like in that transition phase. Should I change to Filmora or not? But come to find out, Jake was having a lot of issues with computers at the time with his live show. And we quickly figured out that the computer that I was using when I would try to render videos in the software, the computer was actually locking up. So that's a whole nother rabbit hole we can go down, is talking about computers. You got to have a computer that's efficient enough when you start doing these kind of things, because you will quickly see that you will have problems and when you're editing, so I use Power Director. It's a paid version, a yearly subscription. I think it's like $120 a year to have it, but I've been using it, and that's what I use.
And when you get to where you can't figure something out, just like Filmora, they actually have a YouTube channel. So you can go, you can get on YouTube and search it. Hey, how do I do a green screen? How do I do this? How do I do that? And then you can, there's people like us that do reviews and do how-tos, and it's not just the Filmora YouTube channel. It's a bunch of people that'll tell you how to do it. And a lot of times you'll find somebody that's good at teaching it, and you can subscribe to them and then go back through their catalog, and you pretty much learn how to do it like that.
Yeah. That's what I did with mine. I mean, they've got different what's the word I'm looking for? Influencers out there that put their own content out about the platform. So there's one guy that I really follow that he does a lot of lessons for Power Director. So if I have a question, how do you do this certain thing, I go into his channel and you can search it, and he's already done something about that. I mean, it's just, they are so powerful that we we probably have not even done probably half of what they're capable of doing.
A lot of those programs, like
Yeah.
probably like Joey's, is for people that they're editing for people all day. It's like somebody like me that does, if I don't have time to edit, I could send it to somebody. That's probably what they're using as a professional editing thing, and they're on it all day and they know all the shortcuts and they know all the tricks and they know how to do it. But that's not for the weekend warrior, pretty much sometimes. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's they're cool. That's one thing that you don't I guess you don't have to have it. We've seen people that just put stuff straight off their phone. They don't do any editing and their channel blows up.
Mhm.
Right? They don't
Yep.
do intros, they don't do any of that stuff, just straight raw footage, and it works, right? But
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot of ands and and just that need to be cut out of your video. Yeah. So those are good things to have that you'll eventually probably need to have anyways.
Well, and for example, you're never going to get everything exactly right. Like Joey teased at the beginning of the show, he remembered to introduce himself. Well, guess what?
Yeah.
None of the rest of us did this time.
Yeah.
So if we wanted to, we could use the editor. We could go back and we could add a clip in with each of us introducing ourselves. I don't think it's necessary, but that's, you know, that's the wonders of editing. You can do whatever you need to do.
So Mark brings up a good question there. And I just showed Jake a little device that's pretty cool. There it is. I have mine right here.
Yeah.
Right here.
So the question
I got
is, are
the
there
remotes.
remotes to control the phone if you have it mounted on a tripod? And the ones that Joey and Jake are holding up, I think that I have the exact same one. It's just a little round device, one button that starts and stops the recording. And
You can take
that's about it.
photos with it. It's
Yeah.
if you're by yourself, like if you've noticed some of the
No.
like my current video, Jake's current video that he just put out today,
Mhm.
that's all done with these little things. They're Bluetooth hook. They sync up to your phone via Bluetooth, and you can actually hit record, stop it, and you can also take still photos with it. It's pretty neat. What is it?
Yeah.
What is
$10?
it?
$10,
$10?
$11.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was having to go around to the camera, hit play, hit go, come back around, and then you have to edit all that out. Now, if my daughter's here, I just say go and then go, and so it's a lot better. But if she's not here, then this saved probably an hour worth. We're just cutting that extra stuff out of every clip.
Well, and if I'm pouring resin, I'm not as afraid to hit the button on that tiny remote as I am
on your
to
phone.
try and use the touch screen on my phone and turn everything off. So
yeah, that's part of the deal. You know, going back to the cameras, your phones, I don't want to go too deep into it because when you're and I'm just starting to learn this stuff. Jake has been doing it, and then it takes you a while. I'm stubborn, but then I finally realized, okay, if you're going to be doing this, my suggestion to you, what I've learned, I don't know, however long I've been doing this, if you're going to take the time to put a video out on YouTube, take the time to record it properly, get all the good angles, get all the good close-ups, because you're doing the work. Why would you want to put something out and then it doesn't mean it's going to get viewed, but it makes it to where it's a little easier on the eyes, and people that are trying to learn this stuff that you're putting out can see it, can actually see it, and you're getting good close-ups, and it's a good quality video. You know, at first I would not move the camera. I hated to do it. I hated to move the camera. And I've learned now it's like, okay, if I'm going to take the time to do this and put the effort into it, I need to do it correctly. And that's just one thing, you know, it does make your project take longer.
Yep.
But if that's what you're wanting to
Wow.
do, you need to get used to it because that's what
Mhm.
it's going to take, you know?
Yeah.
What's your first video? Just get it done, man, and have a
Mhm.
crappy video. It's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
be cool.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Every once in a
Weeks
while, I'll go
later.
back to my first video and I'm just watching and I'm like, what was I thinking? But
I still do that.
yeah, the whole point of this is just not to discourage y'all, is to just tell you you can make it as easy as possible. Just get one out there and make sure you're gonna like it. And once you get going, then you can start looking into buying better things if you choose to do so, and go from there. Because
Mhm.
it's just like woodworking. The more you get into it, the more tools you want to get, the more you want to try out. And if you're going to be doing, in my opinion, if you're going to be doing YouTube, you're going to want the better quality stuff. I mean, some of y'all have seen, y'all know a bunch of y'all are on Saturday morning cartoons. Y'all see what Jake and Jamie have to go through to get that quality video. I mean, you probably don't know all of it, but there's a lot to it, and we've all been through it. You know, just the days of virtual craft festival, right? Just trying to get set up for doing that, kind of like what Matt was doing at first when he was shooting his videos. You know, there's a whole deal you can set up for that. It's totally different to set something up like that. You know,
And it's another
Mhm.
project. It's just like doing resin or doing woodworking or whatever you're gonna do. The YouTube is a project.
Yeah.
It's a whole
Right.
nother project. It's a whole nother. You can go back to your first resin casting or your first thing you made woodworking, and you can look at what you do now. Well, it's better. So as long as you take that same approach to doing a YouTube, you're good, and you just make an effort to get better every time. You're gonna get better, and you're gonna learn, and then you want to. I spend a ridiculous amount of time studying the YouTube channels on how to YouTube and how to grow your channel and all that kind of stuff. And but the point is just to make an effort to get better. And if it's not for you, if you're just the person that's, hey, I'd like watching YouTube instead of doing that, there's nothing wrong with that either.
just go subscribe to our channels.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt, Jamie, y'all want to add something? Y'all got anything to add on this? So
No, not for
Just kind of following up to what you said. If you are the kind of person that just watches YouTube and has not really got an interest in starting a channel or anything like that, just a simple fact of liking your favorite creators' videos, comment on your favorite creators' videos, that all helps their channels. You know,
sharing,
and it certainly does make them feel a hell of a lot better as well.
yeah,
In
And
what
it's
they're
free.
doing, and it's free as well. You know, good point, Matt. Good
yeah,
point.
yeah,
Good
yeah.
point. Good point.
Share all those good things. That helps. You don't know how it helps the algorithm or that channel with the algorithm to
Yeah.
push that
Yeah.
channel more. You know,
Yeah.
Jake always asks or tells, please comment, like, share. That just helps that video get out further. YouTube recognizes it and it just keeps pushing it. So it really does help if that's what you do is just viewing, is make sure you do that. And it's not just saying for us, it's for anybody. If you're going
Everybody.
to take the time to go out there and
Yeah.
watch somebody's video, watch it entirely. The worst thing that you can do, and if any of y'all get into this and you start studying the analytics, you'll learn right away. The worst thing you can do is go start a video and let it play a few seconds and stop it. That really hurts that person's video dramatically. I mean, it is bad.
Yeah. So if you're a subscriber of somebody, and so like the first people that are going to see your video that goes out are your subscribers. So if your subscribers watch a minute of a 10-minute video, then YouTube's going to say, well, their subscribers don't even like it.
Mhm.
So why are we going to show it to other people? So that's going to kill the video right away. But there's a whole bunch of stuff we can talk about. Like this is a pretty good basic how-to YouTube podcast we did today. And there's a whole bunch of rabbit holes. We study this stuff. We get on here almost every night and we study this stuff. And so we can go way deeper. So when we have some weeks where we don't have a guest, we can definitely go in and go deeper as we go. So.
Yeah. And just moving forward, I just want to put this out there. If y'all have any suggestions of topics that y'all want us to talk about, because we won't have somebody on all the time. We do have a pretty good list right now, but there'll be times where we want to have deals like this. So like next week we do have an individual on, but the week after we don't. So y'all can email us at creativemakerspodcast@gmail.com and give us some suggestions.
Or everybody can message Jamie all at once.
Yeah.
All at one time.
Just do that.
Send him a personal message.
Yeah,
Just
you can
whack
find
it
me
all
on my
together.
you can find me on my Instagram at Jake Thompson.
Dang it.
But yeah, so next week we're getting to the end of it. Well, we are, but
We are.
we knew this was going to happen because we just kind of just scratched the surface. We can go real in depth with this. It's there's a lot to this, a lot that we could talk about, which is pretty cool because it gives us more content for down the road.
Well,
but
it's something we're interested in. We know a lot. We know a lot more about it than we think we do.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. You do. Once you start talking about it, you
Yeah.
start like, wow, you really realize how much stuff you've gone through learning this thing.
Yeah.
You know, but let's wrap it up. Why don't we go around the board here and just let us know what you got going on this week? Jake?
Let's go first. Hey, so I put out a pin turning video this morning. It's a complete guide to pin turning. I'm pretty proud of it. Have a cool thumbnail too. Pretty proud of it. Thank you, Joey, for that. And we have
I didn't do nothing.
We always have a good show, but we're gonna put some pennies in some resin this week. So monies, and I should get some trolls telling me how I can feed a family, and I'm going to go to prison and all this kind of stuff for messing up money. But it's all good. 3 hots and a cot, man. What's up? That's it.
There you go.
3 hots and a cot.
Mm-hmm.
Matt, what you got going on?
Still working on my lathe, figuring out if it's a bust or not, and then that's about it right now. Been working hard at the real job here. So
Ooh.
There you go. Who's next, Joe?
Jen.
I'm gonna let y'all figure it out. I wanted to see who was gonna go.
Awkward.
I'll go. So this week, again, been busy at the day job. I have a local art show this weekend that I'm going to do. And the guys know I was on the Good Day Sacramento show on Monday, and they've they've asked me to do an individual feature with them also. So I'm working on getting that scheduled in the next couple weeks. So that should be fun.
Don't forget the little people.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
I'm the little people too. So.
Yeah.
There you go.
Mm.
So for me, at the moment, I'm waiting for some eye candy pigments neons to turn up. I've got a 6-inch PVC pipe, so I'm hoping to make a 6-inch round sphere using the neons, and they're going to be floaters. So
It's a
until
floater.
until that turns up, I'm gonna do some editing with one of the Share Filmora, and yeah, and probably do some of that and do a bit more turning probably.
There you go.
There you go.
All right.
For me, I've got some projects out in the shop. I'm going to be doing a whole upgrade to one of my workstations with some wall control. Little shout out there.
Shout out.
There you go. And that's what I've been working on. I guess we'll be doing Saturday morning cartoons on Saturday for sure. Y'all come out and hang out with us. Next week we have Naps from Naps Naughty Works. He'll be in the hot seat with us. And yeah, that about does it, I guess. So we're gonna close it out, and we will see y'all next week. Same time, same place, same beautiful faces. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.